What if I told you that the way that you look at producing chords is completely flawed? Have you ever wondered how some producers can just hear a song once and then they'll automatically know what chord to play at what time, or just hear something in their head and then boom, they have it? And it's not because they're more musically talented than you, it's just the way that they learn how to look at music. And the crazy thing about it is that it's actually simpler than just memorizing all these random chords. So let me show you, okay? So instead of memorizing chords, they look at music in terms of numbers. So I'm gonna give you an example real quick. Instead of labeling every single note in a scale with its name, they label every single note with a number. So for example, if we are in the scale of C major, all the white notes of course, they'll label it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then back to the 1, right? Simple, bada bing, bada boom. Now this is called the number system. Probably heard it before. I talk about this every single video actually. But most people think that this is just a more organized way to label chords. And that's true, but also it's a map. You see, this can tell you where you are and where you can go. Numbers don't just describe the chords in the scale, they describe what relationship that chord has to home. And if that doesn't fully click yet, let me give you this analogy, okay? Think about a person named Sarah, okay? Sarah doesn't change as a person necessarily. I mean, she has her own characteristics that make her Sarah, but she can feel completely different depending on who is perceiving her. Her brother experienced her differently than, let's say, her mom, and her sister experiences her differently than her husband, of course. But Sarah didn't change. It was the relationship that did. Chords work the exact same way. You see, a chord can feel completely different depending on what key that you're in. However, the chord didn't necessarily change. The relationship it has to home or whatever root note the scale is did, you know? And if you don't necessarily understand this concept, memorizing chords just becomes a broken system because you don't even understand why they work in the first place or even where to go right after. So to really drive this home, okay, let me show you what this looks like in real time. All right, let's say I decided to memorize a chord like D minor 11, really jazzy, really fancy chord, and it looks like this. And also this is like one of my favorite chords, by the way. You see, by itself it has character, you know, sounds nice, sounds beautiful, but the real question is, where do I even go from here? And that answer depends on context. Okay, let me show you. You see, I could play this in D major, and if I did, it would be a 6th chord and it will sound like this. However, same chord, different context. Let's go back to the C major, which is, it's the 2 now. And look how different it sounds, okay? Same chord, completely different feeling, completely different context. Chord doesn't even matter if you don't even understand the context. And by the way, if you are having a really difficult time trying to grasp this whole concept, you can go ahead and book just a free call with me one-on-one. I also do like beat reviews. If you do some sort of like R&B production, I go ahead and help you on your chords. It helps me understand you guys so I can make better videos in general and just have better solutions for you guys' problem. So now that you know that, you might be wondering, okay, Nate, hold on. How does this actually make producing easier? Great question. So once you start to hear relationships, you stop guessing randomly. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't mean you magically know what chord you're gonna play right after. Not yet, at least. Remember, you're in the beginning phase. However, for now, it means you know where to look. Let's say I play a 4, right? And then a 2. And now my brain wants to automatically go up, right? I want to and now instead of just playing every single chord on the fucking keyboard, like seeing where is it, there's really only 2 options that I can pick from, and that's either the 3 or the 2. And that immediately narrows my options from a seemingly endless array of chords to just 2. So now because of that, I can make an educated guess. And that's exactly what I wanted to play at that point in time. And then over time, your ear will start just immediately recognizing what each relationship sounds like. So regardless of what key they're in, you know what a 4 will sound like, or a 2, or a 6, or a 3, and then you'll pick up on that. Quick summary of everything. First, the number system helps you hear and label chords based on the relationship it has to home, or the roots, or just the one, right? Second, it helps you use these types of relationships and actually use them with more intention. And that's why the number system works and why it's so popular. But here is the wild part, okay? Once you start hearing music like this and start actually applying these things, you won't be able to listen to your favorite songs the same ever again, bro. Like, your brain would just automatically start asking, okay, well, hold on, where's the root, where's home, what relationship is this from, are we going from a 4 to a 2, or like a 4-1-6, like what's the chord progression of this shit? And that's exactly where you want to be, because now your mind is transitioning from just a regular listener to an actual musician. How a musician listens to music is actually pretty crazy. But this is especially powerful when you're trying to emulate somebody in specific, like for example, like Frank Ocean. And matter of fact, speaking of Frank Ocean, I actually did this exact process in this video right here. So if you do want to know how Frank Ocean makes his beats and how he comes up with chord progressions, click on this video right here, okay?